Welcome to Section 4 Wrestling. You know you want it.
Hey y'all, Steph Tanner here, and welcome to Section 4 Wrestling on YouTube, where the big boys play. You know you want it. Hey y'all, welcome to Section 4 Wrestling. I am Steph Tanner, back again with another paper review. And we start off with the pre-show. Kayla Braxton claiming that Damian Priest is on the run of his career, especially in 2021. I don't know about that, because let's look at the facts. This year, Damian Priest, okay, he won a match at WrestleMania, a tag team match, and let's be honest, he didn't win the match. The real winner was Bunny Hop. And second, he won the United States title just 2 months ago, and he's defended it once against Sheamus. All 2021 has proven that Damian Priest is a better wrestler than Sheamus. And speaking of Jive Bunny, Booker T now claiming that Jeff Hardy is lucky to stay relevant going on forward to the triple threat match. You can't say that, can you? That's a bit harsh. No, you've probably got a point. He hasn't done much since he returned. Booker T once again claiming that Big E will not be a successful champion whilst he's hanging around with his friends The New Day. Hold on a minute, you hypocrite. I seem to remember you winning singles titles back in the day whilst running with your brother. Remember Harlem Heat? How many times? 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 Sorry, Booker, what was the question? Halfway through the pre-show and Charlotte Flair turns up in a flashy new limousine. Wow, look at the doors on that thing. Sonya Deville claims that Little Miss Bliss has been on the run of a career as of late since her new persona. Really? She hasn't held a title since back in the Performance Centre. Next up, JBL. He claims that Flair is like the new Undertaker. I don't see it. Just before we get up to our first match, there's an advertisement for Stone Cold's Broken Skull sessions, this time with Seth Rollins. Who cares about Seth Rollins? Let's be honest, Chris Van Vliet and Sean Ross Sapp don't. And now it's time for our first match. It's a one-on-one match. Carmella versus Liv Morgan. And I've got to say, Liv Morgan, I love what you've done with your hair. You go, girl. Love a good fringe. And Michael Cole, thank you, Lord, for confirming what we already knew. Last week on SmackDown, Carmella's nose did not get broken. And just before the match starts, Carmella gets on the microphone and claims that her beautiful face opens many, many doors. Corey Grave? And I know as a wrestling channel I should be talking more about the wrestling, but back to the attire. Liv Morgan. DX. But getting back to the match, Pat McAfee, and I quote, "Hell yeah, Stone Cold Austin." It's not hard, Pat. Stone Cold Steve Austin. Hell yeah. Not hell yeah. To round up the kickoff show match, Liv Morgan wins with the Oblivion. Well done. On to the main show now, and as always we started with a huge opening package explaining exactly what the pay-per-view is all about. And this one claims that it will be the one night a year WWE gets Extreme. Well, spoiler alert, it's not until the last match we actually get Extreme. And seeing as there's only one match with Extreme implications, one thing I thought they would have done was bring this back. Surely. Perfect opportunity. Have a bit of fun. Jimmy Smith goes on to talk about how New Day could get split up in the up-and-coming draft this week on SmackDown. Yeah, that's how they got split up last time. But let's be honest, Big E as of now, is currently on the SmackDown roster. The New Day are on the Raw roster. Therefore, they're already split up. Due to backstage antics at the start of the kickoff show, WWE decided that we'll have a 6-man tag pitting the New Day against the team of Almost, AJ Styles and Bobby Lashley. But the question on Jimmy Smith's lips was, how can a team like this go up against the New Day and win? Well, it's quite simple. Apart from Almost being 7'7.5 feet tall, and AJ Styles being a former WWE champion, as well as many other titles, Impact champion, New Japan World champion. And then you've also got Bobby Lashley, who only 2 weeks ago, he was the WWE champion, as well as being the ECW champion and the Impact champion. So I think a team like this can quite easily beat the New Day. But having said that, Bobby Lashley, at the end of the match, he would go on to mistakenly go and spear his own teammate and causing the loss for their team. Tag team titles up next. The Usos taking on the Street Profits. What a match this was. But I think it's a little bit disrespected how at the start the crazy CGI took over the entrance of the tag team champions. Wholesale Uso ass. What the hell does that mean, Pat McAfee? Just moments into the match, Jimmy Uso gets the tag, and Michael Cole on commentary goes to say, Jimmy Uso is the legal man. Brave choice of words there, Michael Cole. And Michael Cole gets it wrong again by saying, calling Jey Uso main event Jey Uso. Hold on a minute, this is only the second match of the main card. Jimmy Uso climbs up to the top of the turnbuckle and dives off the rope. Everything's intact. And then immediately after, Montez Ford goes to the top of the turnbuckle, dives off the rope. Just note, for later on, the rope is still intact. But just as I expected, the Usos picked up the victory. And they are still your SmackDown Tag Team Champions. Our first women's title match, and this one's for the Raw Women's Championship. Charlotte Flair takes on Alexa Bliss. And can I say, if you're going to throw a doll at somebody after the bell's rung, surely that's a foreign object, right? So that should be a disqualification. Charlotte Flair got away with that though, and went on to win the match. Straight after the match, she picks the doll up, rips it apart. Legs off, arms off, head off. That's extreme. Then Charlotte would leave the arena, leaving Little Miss Bliss in the ring with a torn up carcass of a doll. And she cries and she cries and she cries. This goes on for a good 10 minutes. And it leaves me thinking, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? Nothing. We go to a commercial. But the thing is, Alexa, all you've got to do is go on WWEshop.com. You can pick them up for like $15, $20. And I'm sure tomorrow night on Raw, they'll be giving you a third one anyway. This commercial is so awkward. Shuggy Duggy Quack Quack. I wonder who Paul Heyman is on the phone to. Just when you thought the night could not get any more extreme, we have a triple threat match. Which I have to be honest, I went to the toilet. Don't worry, I do have a few notes. I do know one thing. Jeff Hardy went onto the top of the turnbuckle to do a swanton bomb. And guess what? The ropes are intact. And just before that, Sheamus went up onto the top of the turnbuckle, doing the Jeff Hardy stance. Turnbuckle did not collapse. And you're probably asking yourself, why the hell is Steph going on all the time about the top ropes and the turnbuckles? Well, because I think it's very, very important. Jimmy Smith going on again about how Damian Priest has been on such a roll in 2021 after winning the United States title. So if you guys know what he's going on about, please tell me in the comments below, because I haven't got a clue. But what I do know is Damian Priest picks up another victory for the United States Championship with a small package. Extreme. Corey Graves. As Damian Priest is leaving the ring to go backstage, Corey Graves announced, coming up next, we have a United States Championship match. Now it's time for the SmackDown Women's Championship, and we have Bianca Belair up against Becky Lynch for the title. What is she wearing? Yes! The blueprint is back. Main event time now, and finally an Extreme Rules match. And this will be the first time in 5 years Demon Balor gets a rematch. And how dare you, naughty, naughty people at Peacock. Now, here in the UK, we use the WWE network, but over in the States, it's Peacock. And what did Peacock do? They showed adverts during the Tribal Chief, the Universal Champion's entrance. Just 10 minutes into the match, we get our first weapon of the night. After 2.5 hours, Finn Balor pulls out a unique, must be 7 or 8 kendo sticks tied together, like that. It's a bit big for a guy his size, surely. And it was nice to see, as the excitement went out into the crowd, Roman Reigns would do the right and honourable thing by keeping himself and all the fans in attendance safe by wearing a face mask. First time I think we've seen it in WWE. That's exactly what Finn Balor did, as all the lights went out. And as the lights came back on, Finn Balor went into demon mode. That's exactly what happened when Finn Balor's music started playing, and he sets himself up, which looked like he could possibly win this match. All the red lights are on, just like when we saw Bray Wyatt as the Fiend. But for a moment, I think a lot of the fans thought that this was going to be the opportunity. Finn Balor got back into the ring, climbed up on the turnbuckle. It was all set, stood there ready for his finisher. The smoke rising, the red lights shining. And then what would happen? Ka-tung. The turnbuckle collapsed. And he fell. Finn Balor gets up, does a spear, wins, end of the show. Now, one thing I found from this whole show, the storylines were set up. The storylines were fine. It was just the execution. Maybe WWE backed themselves into a corner by putting Demon Balor into the title picture, considering that Demon Balor has not lost a match since back in the days of NXT when he lost his NXT title to Samoa Joe. But nevertheless, Roman Reigns, once again, is your Tribal Chief and your Universal Champion. Well, thank you very much, everybody, for watching this episode of Paper Review. I've been Steph Tanner, and feel free to go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe, you know you want it, and I'll see you when you're older.